Have you ever seen the portion size of food served in fast food restaurants in America? And what kind of food is common on the streets of US cities? In this video, I'll tell you all about popular eateries in America. You'll learn about street food vendors, ice cream trucks, and why the portion sizes are so huge in the USA. And at the end of the video, you'll discover shocking facts about why healthy food is much more expensive than fast food in this country. Enjoy watching. Imagine you overslept, didn't have time for breakfast, and are rushing to work. And then, on the way, you come across a food truck with hot dogs or burgers where they'll quickly make a delicious dish for a small fee. Isn't that a miracle? But in America, it's actually the norm. Street food is extremely popular there. But what can you find on the streets of US megacities? Is it safe to eat there? Let me tell you. For this video, I researched various articles and consulted friends who have been to America to gather reliable information about street food in American cities. And here's what dishes are popular there. Americans love to eat everything. Literally. For example, pretzels are very popular in America. They are usually savory snacks sprinkled with salt and served with various sauces. But there are also more classic options, like pretzels served as desserts, glazed and sprinkled with cinnamon. They come in various shapes, like Philadelphia pretzels, twisted into the shape of an 8, and others in the form of hearts. Personally, I'd prefer a sweet glazed pretzel. What about you? However, the cost of such a treat can be shocking. You'll have to pay around $1 to $2 for one pretzel. Pizza stands are also common on the streets. It seems like American street food wouldn't be complete without this dish. And you can really buy pizza at every step. I won't discuss whether it's delicious or safe to eat, but I think the hustle and bustle of life when you need to rush to work or school, grabbing a slice of this dish wouldn't hurt. Especially since in some places, pizza prices are only $1 to $2. Personally, I think that's a reasonable price. You can also find corn dogs, hot dog carts, ice cream stands, tacos, burritos, burgers, and French fries on the streets. In general, all the fast food you can imagine, you'll find it on the streets of America. And prices in non-touristy areas are just reasonable. You'll be charged from $2 to $6 for one dish, depending on the location. Of course, on the most popular streets of New York, the price of a hot dog and dough with mustard can be very high, around $10 or more. In general, it's better to find an American friend and visit such places together. When talking about food in America, you can't forget the famous McDonald's. So I decided it's time to find out how things are going for this large chain in their home country. And what I found surprised me a bit. Firstly, the prices. If we are used to the fact that prices are always the same in every McDonald's, and the same cheeseburger costs the same amount everywhere, in America, prices will vary depending on the state. And it's stated on the official restaurant website. For example, 2 apple pies in Ohio cost $1.19, while in New York, it's already $2.69. And this applies to literally all dishes. The website immediately indicates where the most expensive place is and where you can find cheaper dishes. I would also like to mention the average price of one dish. In some cases, they are quite reasonable. For example, the same apple pies, which on average cost around $2 for 2 pieces. However, the same burgers are much more expensive than in some countries. What about the menu variety? Americans are doing just fine in that department. In addition to the familiar positions of burgers, French fries, nuggets, and drinks, you can also find cookies, a plethora of sweets and ice cream, as well as milkshakes. But what surprises me the most is not this. The menu includes whole sets for a family breakfast. For example, for $22 you can get 6 sandwiches and 4 cups of coffee. However, as I understood, this offer is from a specific restaurant. Oh, and the blue milkshake confused me. It seems like they didn't spare any coloring in many dishes. You can also find pancakes, whole gallons of sweet tea, and a huge variety of sweet coffee drinks. Oh yes, I almost forgot. According to reviews, burgers and other dishes in McDonald's USA are not as tasty as in Europe, but I can't confirm that. By the way, many reviewers pointed out the issue of homeless people who literally occupy establishments, lying down to sleep right on the sofas. In not-so-prosperous areas with many homeless people, you can encounter such places. However, this doesn't mean that all McDonald's buildings are always dirty and smelly. No, there are many restaurants where it's clean and quite nice. So if you're in America, I would still recommend going to McDonald's. By the way, about sweets. In the USA, they absolutely adore various food trucks, especially those selling ice cream. What is it? It's a regular van with an improvised kitchen inside. Typically, these trucks prepare very simple dishes. And when it comes to ice cream, they just store it in freezers and serve it to anyone who wants it. And I would like to point out that these trucks have so many different flavors of ice cream that you can go crazy. These trucks appeared in the distant past when not every family had its own refrigerator. At that time, ordinary people simply couldn't store regular ice cream anywhere because it melted very quickly. In those times, they sold the classic flavor of this dessert in these trucks. But when everyone started getting freezers, ice cream vendors had to get creative. They started adding pieces of fruit and berries to the dish. Naturally, fruit ice cream was much more liked by customers than the classic creamy one. So the number of customers for such trucks only increased. The very first such trucks used very primitive methods to cool the product. They didn't have refrigerators that ran on electricity. Back then, they simply immersed the ice cream in containers with large blocks of dry ice that could melt all day. Another distinctive feature of ice cream trucks is the melody that plays when it drives. American kids, when they heard the music, would immediately run out of their homes with banknotes in hand to buy themselves a delicious treat. As I see it, there's a special romance in this that has survived to this day. Even now in the USA, you can encounter a huge number of such trucks. You've probably seen various videos of workers from these trucks playing with dogs or simply giving sweets to children. By the way, in some areas, such trucks were outright banned, for example in Chicago. However, in 2016, after 53 years of the ban, they finally allowed ice cream trucks to operate there. And they say that the sweets from these trucks are really very tasty. So I strongly recommend getting yourself a cone or cup of ice cream. And if you've already tried it, write in the comments whether you liked it or not. By the way, I have a question for you. Have you noticed that Americans literally have everything on a massive scale? Take for example their huge SUVs. They can easily accommodate a family of 7, and most affluent residents of the USA drive such cars. Why do they need such vehicles? And I've already mentioned that in American McDonald's there's a special offer with a huge number of burgers. So in all fast food chains, as well as in restaurants and cafes, they simply have huge portions of food. Even in stores, you won't find a small bottle of milk. There will either be a bundle of such bottles or one enormous canister. In general, in America, the culture of consumption is highly developed. They never skimp on anything. If they need to buy food for home, they buy it in large monthly packages. I agree, it's convenient enough. But as I see it, some products will simply spoil over time. And they also order a lot of food for parties. Where does all of it go afterward? It simply gets thrown away. On the streets of New York, as well as in other major cities, in places where there are usually restaurants, cafes and eateries, crowds of homeless people and migrants throw away trash. All these marginalized groups of the population are waiting for one thing, when all these establishments throw away leftover food. And they do it constantly, because it's impossible to sell everything. Fresh food that would be still delicious by the next day ends up in the dumpster, just because it wasn't bought. And so it is in everything in America. Any drink you buy can be extra large. For example, the same cup of cola will be simply enormous. And in restaurants, they will definitely serve you burgers or french fries of colossal sizes. The portions there are so huge that just one dish is enough to fill you up. And I'm not joking. Literally everything is enormous. Pizza, drinks, sweets, desserts, cakes, burritos, tacos. And unfortunately, there's a clear explanation for all of this. You've probably heard that sugar is very harmful to human health. I found many articles when preparing this video explaining why this is indeed the case. The horrors I discovered there could shock you, but today we won't talk about that. It seems I found the reason why in America literally every establishment serves dishes of enormous size, and once again, it's sugar. Remember what I said about the McDonald's menu? There are loads of sweet milkshakes, sugary coffee drinks, ice cream, and so on. Remember what I said about ice cream trucks? Almost all American kids simply adore them. And think about the dishes I listed in street food. It seems everything adds up here. Americans just love everything sweet and fatty, and that's a huge problem. Sugar is rapidly absorbed by the body, making you quickly accustomed to it. Scientists have proven that sugar addiction is comparable to addiction to narcotics. Therefore, it's not easy to give it up. Sugar also stimulates appetite, which is why in America they started serving huge portions of food everywhere they could. Almost all dishes and products have added sugar for taste, so people keep buying their products again and again. And mega corporations don't care that people face huge health problems after consuming their products. American children develop a dependency on this white powder from childhood. After all, wherever you look, there's an abundance of sweets. Because of this, from a very young age, they start suffering from obesity. A massive number of Americans have diabetes, and almost all people in old age suffer from digestive and heart problems. Unfortunately, almost all residents are susceptible to these terrible diseases. The USA has long held one of the leading positions globally in the number of obese people. According to 2016 data, over 40% of the population suffered from this ailment, and nowadays, I think it's even more. And it's very sad because people literally have no choice. Why? I'll tell you more about it. In the USA, there are huge problems with healthy food. It's almost non-existent there. Well, you can always find fruits and vegetables in the store, but the prices will greatly surprise you. Literally everything related to healthy eating costs a colossal amount of money. And indulging in sweets, sodas, greasy wings with sauce, delivered pizza, burgers from the local stand and ice cream from the truck is much cheaper than going to the store, buying regular apples and bananas and making a healthy fruit salad. Not to mention vegetables. They also cost a lot there. And buying fresh meat from the grocery store turns out to be not as cost-effective as ordering barbecue wings or a steak with cranberry sauce at a local cafe. Doesn't this seem strange to you? All this unhealthy food is genuinely much cheaper than the healthy options. Almost all low-income families suffer from obesity, and all because they only eat fast food. So those who simply don't have enough money are forced to ruin their health. Almost all people with obesity are actually from not so affluent families. Some were taught to eat only fast food from childhood, while others just can't find a decent job. Have you ever seen well-known American personalities who are very overweight? Take for example the most prominent figures in America, its presidents over the last 20 years. You won't find openly overweight people there. And what about movie stars? Almost all actors also look fit and beautiful. In general, as I said, wealthy people can afford proper nutrition, which makes them look better, while the poor only harm their health. Why does this happen? I have my own speculations. All these mega corporations that own fast food chains have long been controlling the country's food markets. They literally can purchase products much cheaper than you would in the store. Because of this, the prices of their dishes become so attractive, while ordinary citizens cannot afford healthy products. And as I see it, this is quite a realistic scenario of events, considering how little we know about mega corporations. What do you think? Why does this happen? Share your observations in the comments. In this video, I've told you all about street food in America and the problem it brings. Thanks for watching.